Rise and shine! It's AMD time! You guys got that pun, didn't you? Of course you did. You're a group of lovely, smart individuals. My awkwardness aside, today's video is going to be featuring an AM4 motherboard. ASUS South Africa sent over their top-of-the-line Crosshair VI Hero motherboard for me to unbox and do a quick overview of. This is going to be the board that I'm going to do most of my initial Ryzen coverage on, so it's good for you guys to get acquainted with it as well as me. So we're just going to unbox it, we're going to look at all the features, we're going to talk about it, it's just going to be a good experience. So let's get to that. Okay, up first, obviously we have the outside of the box, which says it's the Crosshair 6, but you guys already knew that from my little intro. Then on the back, it just gives you some good little indication of what this has. USB 3.1 front panel connector, which is something that's new to Z270. I'm glad to see it's coming to AM4 as well. Lists all of the features, the back panel ports, CPU support, all of that good stuff. Has Aura, Supreme FX, codec, and 3D printing mounts. Now let's just move into opening it up. And there's the motherboard with just a little plastic protector over it. Let's see if there's anything under it. No, there's nothing under it, so let's just take it out and look at this in a bit and see what else is in the box. First up, looks like we have a discount code, 20% off of cable mod cables. Let me get that in focus for you guys. There we go, 20% off cable mod cables. Then we have an ROG coaster, look at that. Then driver CD, cable labels, which is actually really appreciated. And then the user guide, which, whatever. Let's see if there's anything under that piece. No, it's connected to the other one. So on the left side, we will find some SATA cables, more SATA cables, and this looks to be RGB LED connectors. Yeah, these are RGB LED connectors. Check that out. All right, then on the right side, what do we have? Ah, there we go. This is a live unboxing, so you guys get to see me struggle with the box. All right, this would be this is a hard SLI bridge, which is good. So I assume this is high bandwidth. Then we have M.2 mounting screw, singular. Then this is M.2 mounting screw. What the heck is this? Is this another M.2 mounting screw? Oh no, this is the 3D printed mount. There we go. Just got to look at things, Brett, and then you figure out what everything is. All right, back plate with the squishy foam that you can put into the back of a computer chassis. And then the front panel connector doodad, where you plug everything in and then you plug this into the motherboard. And it just makes everything really easy. Makes it hard to screw up. And then there's something right there. So, oh, it's bigger. It's bigger. Oh, and just a bunch of stickers. Look at all those stickers. Look at those stickers. Stickers. Now it's time to take an overview look of the motherboard itself. Obviously, up first, the most apparent is the AM4 AMD socket right there for support for all of the Ryzen chips. Then you also have an 8-pin as well as a 4-pin power connector up there at the top. For the CPU, you have 4 DDR4 DIMM slots, which support RAM up to 2666 megahertz. Then obviously the 24-pin right there, because that's included on all motherboards these days. Then you have CPU fan headers up there, with one of them being for your AIO pump. Then for PCI Express slots, you have 3 PCI Express 3.0 lanes, as well as 3 PCI Express 2.0 lanes. You have an M.2 slot right over there. You have more fan connections down here. You have an RGB header down there, which I'll show you more in depth soon. Then you have a start button, you have a reset button, you have a safe boot button, and a retry button. And then there's also slow mode as well as LN2 mode for those extreme overclockers out there. You have the Supreme FX audio over on this side, USB 3.1 front header connection over here. That seems to be about the basics. And then you have the heat sinks for the VRMs right there with the BIOS postcode up top right there. Now let's take a look at the back plates, or the back panel connections. Let's get that in focus. There it is. So you have a reset button, you have a clear CMOS button, you have a set of 4 USB 3.0 ports right there, you have a set of 4 USB 2.0 ports there, a set of another 4 USB 3.0 ports, USB 3.1 with Type A and Type C, as well as a gigabit Ethernet port, and then your bank of audio ports supported by the Supreme FX audio. One of the interesting things about this board is that it also supports AM3 Plus coolers on top of being AM4 compatible, because as you can see, just under the cooler mount right there, there's an extra slot where you can put in an AM3 Plus backplate. So if you have an AM3 Plus CPU cooler, the mounting hardware should fit. I've read that there are some issues as far as height clearances that might be a concern, but just generally, AM3 Plus should be supported on this board. All right, now I'm gonna get this board installed into a system so that you could just check out the BIOS as well as the Aura lighting, which should be illuminated right there as well as right there. Oh, and there's an RGB header up there as well. They have two of them. One of the things that I didn't see when I first opened up the Crosshair is that under this I/O cover that ASUS has pre-installed, there's another M.2 connection which can be used to install a Wi-Fi adapter. It has a pretty inconspicuous placement, but you will have to take off this entire cover in order to access that port. Otherwise, the RGB lighting on the I/O cover and on the heatsink at the bottom of the board are fully Aura compatible with all of the brilliance of the rainbow that you need. The initial look of the Crosshair VI Hero BIOS is very similar to any of ASUS other overclocking BIOS that exist on the Intel platform. Most of the standard overclocking ideas are the same here, with the ability to increase CPU ratio, adjusting RAM frequency, and manipulating all of the voltages that you need. There's enough here to do a simple overclock or get more in depth to all of the sub-configurations that you may need for your overclocking system. Obviously, Ryzen is a completely different platform, and so most of what you were able to do on an Intel chip has to be rethought in order to get the best performance here. Ryzen chips depend heavily on RAM overclocking, whereas Intel hardly cares about that. Thankfully, I had no issues with running 4 DIMMs of G.Skill Trident Z RGB at the max supported 2667 MHz. If you're looking for a board that can do some great overclocks for your Ryzen 7 chip, the Crosshair VI Hero has everything you'll need. On my Ryzen 7 1700X CPU, I hit 4 GHz on every core while running the 2667 MHz RAM with all 4 DIMM slots occupied without a lick of instability anywhere. Overall, I enjoyed my time with the Crosshair VI Hero. It's definitely one of the best AIM-4 motherboards you can get on the market right now. The cherry on top for me is the AIM-3 mounting holes so that your existing cooler can be supported with this motherboard. Since AIM-4 mounting brackets have been delayed for a lot of the major manufacturers, that feature alone gives me a compelling reason to want to pick up one of these motherboards. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this unboxing and overview of the ASUS Crosshair VI Hero motherboard. Big thanks to ASUS South Africa for sending it over for me to check out. Be sure to hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this video. Also hit that subscribe button while you're down there if you want to stay up to date on all of my tech related content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.